Yes, yes. The boys are back. This is Knock 'em Out the Box, episode 144.
144 and sap.
What's up? My name is Vinny Paz. I'm here with my co-host, with the co-most, Mr. Majestic, the left, right, left kid, Mr. Brendan Long. What's the word, kid?
What's up? A little tired.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
am I. As is
A
Billy
little,
Betts.
little,
Billy
a
Betts
little
in the
sleepy,
building.
so I'll try to, it was hot here
Yeah.
on the
Yo,
East Coast,
guys,
100
we're getting
degrees,
hit with 100 triple digits. The
little
three
heat
of us,
wave.
guys. So wherever you're at, I'm not going to talk to people in Arizona or things like that. But if you're somewhere on point,
It's a dry heat.
no, it's
This is
vile.
this is
vile.
this is oppressive.
This is oppressive.
A week and a half ago it was 58 degrees.
Yep.
What are you gonna do? It's supposed to be hot now.
No, it is. It is. But we were getting lucky.
Do you sit on your porch with the little fan, the little Chinese fan? You sit there like this, and then you gossip with the other ladies in the neighborhood, Vin? Is that what you do?
At one point.
Yeah.
At one point. Not during this heat. Edgar's like a spoiled fella. So he's like, yo, I dig the outside and I'm hyped to see people. All right, it's hot. Fuck this. Let's go back in.
When my Teddy was still on this earth.
R.I.P. Teddy. Love Teddy.
Rest in peace. Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of heat, he would pull a U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw a dog pee and shit so fast. Like we would get 2 feet. Usually they hold it so that they'll walk longer. He would be like, all right, I'm done. Peace. I'm out. Turn around.
So in this heat, say I let her get out, right? And like come back into, I don't know, switch my glasses or something. When I go back to the door, he's waiting. Like, yo, my guy.
Right.
Billy, do you guys have any pets there?
Yeah, I have a dog.
Okay.
Oh, you don't know about the dog, Voodoo? There's Voodoo.
Yeah, I do. I remember Voodoo.
Voodoo's about to get the boot because she's had diarrhea for like 3 days.
You had Voodoo before the kids, didn't you?
Bad. Yeah, we had Voodoo before.
I remember.
Would she drink the pool water?
I don't know what she did, but no, I gotta bring her to the vet.
She lives in Billy's beard.
Well, perfect timing, Vin, for the Vinny Paz Hate Summer Sale, huh?
Right. I cut a promo on Hating the Summer, B, and said, look, sale, jmtstore.com. I hate the summer. I'm not going nowhere. So what can I do to make your summer better? You know what I mean? Because mine isn't going to be happy regardless.
So what kind of deals can we get on this summer deal?
I was looking at it. I'm going, what is this, Billy? It's like Crazy Eddie. Everything must go over there. I'm like this. I clicked on it, B, to see what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? To just abuse me, And I'm going 50%. No, there's legit 50% off certain joints. And I'm not talking like, whenever you find sales, B, it's like an extra medium shirt in bright lime green. Like fly.
This is the regular merch.
Yes.
This is the full line, the full kit.
No. It's not the
whole.
Hold
on. Did they put the Knock 'em Out the Box shirts on sale? Because I don't know if I approve that.
I don't think. No,
right.
They said no. We want full price for them.
We'll raise the price.
Raise them. Put them.
You know what you should. I was thinking about this. What if you rip the sleeves off the shirt, still sell it full price? You know what I'm saying? And you keep this. You get yourself some sleeves.
Some sleeves.
And then it's hot, so they get the dog kicker. You got a wife beater, right?
Well,
that's a wife beater shirt.
Maybe the Knock 'em Out the Box should be sleeves off, suns out, guns out.
The
machismo of the show.
Me and my boys call those shirts dog kickers. They're not quite wife beaters. They're just dog
kickers. Yeah, that fucker would kick a pooch if he got the sleeves cut off. Yeah,
I like this idea.
I know you do.
Do you go sleeveless in the summer, Bill? You don't cut the beard back in the summer, huh? It's hot.
No.
I bet Billy agrees with me.
You store fans in there?
I'll bet Billy agrees with me with the beard would be like me. It's like, say I put on a pair of jeans and someone goes, it's hot out. What do you have jeans on? Yeah, it's 110, asshole. Never in my life have I said from my knee to my ankle or fuck. Oh, my knee.
The vent. It's the
I
flowing
lift up
air.
the pant leg a little bit and let it flow. First off, I'm not on the fucking streets like a real fucking animal running the streets with jeans on. I mean, where am I going? I met up with Boffy, with Jan for some dinner tonight, Jan, right? And his wifey and his kid. And he says, I didn't think you'd be out. This isn't Pazzy weather. I'm like, oh, what are we eating outside?
Right.
What do you mean? I go from my house air conditioned to the
I don't like
car
that,
air
by the way.
conditioned to the.
Do you start the car with the gimmick before you get in it?
No, because my Acura is a classic. Golden Girl. I
Golden
Right.
Girl?
keep her
Golden Girl
pristine.
don't have the
Right.
remote.
And I don't want to sell her because she's still pristine. You know what I mean? Golden Girl's the one car I didn't like wild out and destroy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I ran new cars into the ground, but Golden Girl's my baby.
Do you
Uh,
I don't dine al fresco.
no, refuse.
I hate it. It's
Refuse.
I
gross.
like a little outdoor
I
dining.
hate
Not
it.
in
like-
not in 100-degree heat.
I hate it. My mother hates it. You're the only close friend of mine to ever back up that
I don't
statement
like it.
and say I hate
So
it.
I don't get it. So let's sit these tables out on the fucking sidewalk where there's idling cars.
In
And
the
I
heat.
in the heat, and I can breathe their exhaust. I love when there's like a delivery too. Like
Mhm.
my style truck pulls up and idles, and there's 5 guys screaming at each other as they're delivering seafood into the restaurant.
Mhm.
And that's supposed to be what? Like I'm supposed to like that? No, the whole
It's a beautiful night.
no,
B,
no,
have
it's
you heard
too,
of
it's
Media, the suburb outside of Philly?
only through you.
Okay, yeah, like Wanda Sykes lives there. It's like it looks like a little, sort of village town
They
that
have
would be.
they have a little downtown.
Yeah, it looks
I
like it
like
would
that.
be on the island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
I
looks
like
something
that.
like that.
It's quaint.
They do dining under the stars every Wednesday night. Like you can't drive because
Oh, they closed the street off?
They closed the whole
See,
main
listen,
street down.
I like it. I'm only
I
gonna
don't
pick
mind
a place
that, baby.
doesn't have the cars. Like you gotta
Nah,
have
I'm
the
not
nice.
having it even
Look,
if you do
like
that.
if I'm on like
What
you
am I,
know,
an animal? I don't understand this. See, I want the air conditioned cold, a nice cold drink.
No, the cold drink on a warm night is kind of nice though. Outside, you got to
I
drink.
mean,
it
yo,
fresh.
I like drinking outside or eating barbecue outside in someone's backyard. I'm talking at a restaurant. I want to be in the restaurant. And I feel like I always get forgotten about by the waiter or waitress when I'm outside.
I
You
just don't
know?
like it.
Yeah, I'm not big on it. I want to go
Well,
to your restaurant. I don't want to go do your parking lot.
look, I usually take control of the news here. B's gonna set it off because he asked me if I put something in the news, and I didn't. So B, do you want to set it off?
Yeah, so for the second time in a month, unfortunately a Japanese fighter may lose his career. Jin Sasaki suffered. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
A
we'll talk the
vicious,
fight, but yeah.
brutal knockout by the hands of Brian Norman Jr.
Billy, he said he doesn't remember the last 6 weeks of his life.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, he
Wow.
got dropped twice in the opening round, and then eventually he was knocked out, knocked unconscious, and he doesn't remember the fight after the first 2 knockdowns, has no recollection of it. And I've heard guys say that they
Yeah.
don't know. A friend of mine's father boxed in the Navy, and he talks about losing a week of his life.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
Viet-
this
in
is 6
Vietnam.
weeks. Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He doesn't know.
He said, as if
He said
being,
he said
going to Nam
they
isn't
were
horrible enough.
right. The story he tells, it's a fight. He's a very humorous person, so the way he tells it is funny. He said, so I get all warmed up, we weigh in, everything's good. We're gonna go. I think they were boxing the army, like
Okay.
a smoker.
Yeah,
He
of
said-
course.
Said, so I'm standing next to my coach and I go, all right, I'm ready to go. And he goes, go sit down. You went. What are you talking about?
Wow.
You got knocked out like an
Got
hour ago.
sparked clean out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they said they hadn't taken his gloves off. He had walked over and then gotten back up like he had no. And he said the rest of the week is like fuzzy and he doesn't
Yeah.
remember anything preceding that.
So you're talking 50 plus years ago. This just happened to Jin Sasaki. I wonder
Yeah.
if those 6 weeks will stay gone and it'll just come,
don't know.
maybe it'll just be the night of that he doesn't remember. But yeah, Bill, B will correct me. They said he might not fight again.
Yeah, they said he might not fight again.
I mean, that's like
Um,
CTE shit than like football
Yeah.
players.
Of
where
course,
like
of
that
course.
he probably wants to, but people are gonna advise him not to.
So
Of
the
yeah.
crux of this is that what they were saying is like, maybe corners have to save guys from themselves.
Well, they were his corner, Billy, was being very brave on his behalf. He
Yeah.
was the one eating shots. They're the ones that, look, that's sort of the drop on it now from from real fight guys that have been in the sport 40, 50, 60 years, that corner should have stopped it.
Yeah, the other guy was Genjiro Shigioka, has a brain bleed.
Right, right. He's still in a coma though, isn't he, V?
I think he came out of the coma.
Okay.
You know.
Brandon, we're going to talk about the fight.
Details are fuzzy, you know, when they come from over there.
You're right. We're going to talk about the actual fight.
Yeah.
In the defense, again, I'm not a 50-year fight veteran, trainer, you know, cut man. It's I wasn't necessarily screaming stop the fight before the
I wasn't either.
landed. I mean, I'm not saying it was pretty. It was just ugly, and they were slinging the dogs. You know what I mean? He was acquitting himself well at times. I mean, Norman, we'll get to that.
Yeah, get to it.
Okay. Jaime Munguia's B sample has confirmed the presence of a banned substance, exogenous testosterone, following his May 4th win over Bruno Sarachi. The result puts his unanimous decision victory in jeopardy, potentially being overturned to a no contest with a suspension of 6 to 12 months possible. Munguia's team, who are the Reynosos, this will be their fifth fighter in what, be post-COVID? Well, no, Canelo was like 2018, the tainted.
So they got Oscar Valdez.
Yeah. Behind me right now, no
Jaime.
Canelo, that's Tree.
Ryan Garcia.
Right. Ryan was with them when he got popped.
I think,
and
right?
He was the fifth guy. I think, unless we're wrong, he absolutely was with them.
Wasn't it Derek James?
There was his trainer for that fight?
Yeah.
For the Haney?
But still, And then who was the other guy?
I honestly don't remember. But it's five. That part we're not making up. I'm not just going to throw a name out to throw a name out, but it was definitely five. And I think we're wrong about Ryan being under them when he got popped. It's too many people. Whatever be there's smoke, there's fire. And typically, okay, one thing happens with one guy and it's isolated. Whatever happened. It doesn't mean they didn't pop hot. It doesn't mean the trainer or the camp is behind it. Maybe the fighter is at fault. But when a camp/trainers,
you got to start to kind of go, what the hell's going on?
After two, you start going, okay, this is more than smoke, there's fire. This is more than coincidence. This is more than, you know, what does it be? One time, shame on me, whatever that's the old saying.
Yeah.
Despite being 42 years old, Big Bang Zhang says he's not done yet. The Chinese heavyweight, who is 27-3, is targeting a return by the end of 2025, and wants a long-discussed bout with Anthony Joshua, saying, if Joshua's interested, I'm in. That's not actually a bad fight for AJ.
I'd take it.
You know, what I mean, B, is there sort of needs to be a fight like that if he wants to. AJ needs to fight someone in the realm of being a name, hovering top 10, 15-ish, but not the huge fight.
It's fine. It's serviceable.
Fury. Yeah. Eddie Hearn is planning a big move for Boots Ennis. 154-pound debut in August against a top 10 gatekeeper, followed by a high-stakes showdown with Virgil Ortiz Jr. before year's end. Hearn says the drained version of Ennis at 147 is gone, and fans are about to see a fully fueled monster at junior middle. Apparently, the Ortiz fight nearly happened in where the August one that it looks like we're going to be going to in Philly. It looks like that's where it's going to be in August, but was pushed back. Okay. I just want to say something before you do. A top 10 gatekeeper is a bit of an oxymoron.
Right.
You're not a gatekeeper if you're a top 10 guy. A top 20 guy who was once a potential threat or a title challenger that's still hanging around and can give you a problem is a gatekeeper. A top 10 guy at 154, we went through this last week, B. They're all goons. I don't know what he means by that. The lower half.
Well, let's see. If it's like a top 10 in the sanctioning body, and not a top 10 of the whole division.
Not the one that we riff off every week. Right. You're right.
So it's like, well, this guy's ranked in the in the IBF top 10.
We're reading this news. I saw the actual Eddie promo, and he was selling that it's going to be a real guy. Using the word gatekeeper is not making me excited
No,
for
like
this name. And we're not far. Bro, we are 7 weeks away from August. Not that it's the first week of August. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
from the month they're saying, or
Yeah.
the quote unquote August fight. Right now we're at the beginning of when a camp would start. You know what I mean? Now, of course,
Yeah.
they could have started it already. That Boots is probably in there. He lives in the gym, lives a clean life. They're probably in there already. But I'm just saying, we need a name soon, we need a venue soon, and we need an opponent soon. And I'm not good with a gatekeeper. And we said top 10 gatekeeper is a contradiction. But B makes an amazing point. There's a difference between the real top 10 guys at a weight and the 4 different sanctioning bodies who have guys. I'm telling you guys, I'll bet you if we went to the 4 sanctioning bodies, there's people B and I never heard of. And some of them, not all of them. And some I'll bet.
Let's just do IBF.
Okay. There's 40 guys in over 4 weight.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially 40 guys. I'll bet you Brendan and I don't never heard of half of them. That's my number.
Let's see.
And then while B does that, I'll rattle off one more time, real quick, the real guys at 54 while B's looking it up.
Okay. Okay. Listen.
Cool.
Let's just do it.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
So this is the IBF.
Okay.
The champion is Bakram Murtalazaev. So you guys know how this goes. They go champion, then they go number 1 through 10.
Right.
All right. So it always confused me when I was a little kid.
And he can fight, and he's the kid who beat the shit out of Tim Tszyu. We have no problem with that.
Erickson Lubin, ranked number 1.
Yeah.
So he's a number 1 contender.
Right.
Number 2, not rated. Number 3, Josh Kelly. Number 4, Conor Benn, who's tied up.
Yeah.
Number 5, Sergey Bohachuk. You telling me Josh Kelly's better than Sergey Bohachuk?
Not on it, but not by any calculable
Number 6,
measure.
Callum Walsh. Jesus Ramos is number 7. Keith Thurman, number 8. Uisma Lima from Portugal.
I can say I've never heard of him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Adriel Holmes rounds out the top 10.
Okay.
So there you go. It could be Uisa Lima. There's a possibility. I don't think that'll be the opponent.
I can tell you what they can make easy is Lubin.
Yeah.
He'll work with PBC. You know what I mean? But do they take that? You know, because Lubin's waiting for he wants a title shot and won in that when he was the headliner on the show Pro Box card very recently. Look,
I'm thinking it'll be Josh Kelly.
Wow. Jorge Garcia Perez, Jesus Ramos, Lubin, Tim Tszyu, Fundora, Murtalazaev, Israel Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz, and of course Bud vacated. You know what I mean? Xander Zayas, these are all real guys there, guys.
Here's the deal. Eddie Hearn promotes Josh Kelly. Okay? Josh Kelly's 31. You and I both don't think very highly of him. He's a all sizzle, no steak.
He is the British, the UK 154 Ryan Garcia. Instagram fast hands, Instagram mitt work.
That's who I think he's gonna fight.
And do you think they go over there to blow Boots up and we don't eat? We get to do it in Philly?
Yeah, they're gonna go where the money is, and that's Philly, I think.
Okay.
For Boots. I think that's what they're doing. They want to establish
I agree with you. I just think because of the passionate fans over there, I think Boots could do a nice size building against Josh Kelly.
Not yet.
Okay.
I think now, hear me out.
I'm not talking to Ricky Hatton in Manchester turnout, Brendan.
If Conor Benn and Hugh Bank Jr. didn't do what it did, we would likely have, I think, seen Conor Benn and Boots.
I do too.
They had him at the fights.
I do too. We were there. We were
there. We saw him
to our right, and you said, "Yo, look, Mannix is talking to Conor Benn."
Benn.
Oh, wow, he came to Philly. It's cooking. That's why.
Right.
And Shakur was there because of either Ray Ford, for some reason. I don't remember, but we looked over. And that's
Well,
not as weird because he's from right up the road.
At Ray Ford is at all these fights.
He is.
He was at the one I was at last.
Yeah, they talked to him really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, B, are you okay with Josh Kelly in August? Okay.
Sure.
Here's something to think about, B. If Zayas grabs that belt in that fight, you gotta be
Top Rank ain't letting him go anywhere near Boots.
I know, but you're salivating to grab, that belt.
Or Jesus Ramos.
Right. Because you have this, all of these guys are goons, but there's tiers of goons.
Yeah.
You have these guys like, oh, okay, that's a winnable fight. And then you have these guys where you start going, yo, that's a pick'em.
I gotta say, where I killed Brian Norman, I think everybody did.
Yeah.
For turning down the Boots fight.
Okay.
He now has the opportunity to unify all the belts.
We'll see if he does it because it's Barrios.
And I'll tell you right now, well, the 2 Boots belts are going to be vacant.
Right.
So he could pick them up.
Yeah, if that sanctioning body doesn't make a fight between people.
We'll talk about him more.
We will.
But it just seems like a smart move in hindsight now.
We'll see how it plays out and see. Like, to me, it's like sometimes you're penny wise and pound foolish. We'll see if it's the opposite here.
Yeah.
These notes won't stay, and I'm about to fucking smash my hand through something and throw the computer out the window because I'm trying to look at you because you're so handsome and the camera while and be professional and not look down when reading.
AI Billy distracts me. It's so handsome.
Perfect timing for what you just talked about. Turki Al-Sheikh has confirmed that he's planning the Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn rematch for September 27th or October 4th at either the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or Wembley. So, okay, they're running it back. If you're Eubank, in my opinion, could not be the smarter move. There's nothing out there for you at the weight you're at. If you're at 68 out there, you're not beating.
Bro, he's going to get Canelo after Crawford.
Okay, so that's in the notes too. David Benavidez promoter Samson Lukowitz told The Ring that they're targeting a fight in October against Callum Smith in either Vegas or Dallas. We said he might be the next opponent for him.
Okay.
I saw people hype. Yo, I love that fight. I don't know what any of y'all are talking about. What did okay? I mean, he's gonna get packed up.
Yeah.
So what am I missing?
I guess he looked really good in February.
He looked good.
That was like the fight of the night.
It was. Alexander Usyk's longtime promoter, Alex Krasiuk, has announced that the pair have parted ways following a successful reign together. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know either.
And
he put up a really nice tribute to
He
Usyk.
did.
And Usyk, like, they collabed on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like hard feelings.
No, but it's odd then. You know what I'm saying? Did he say, look, there's 2 more things left. All the business is done. Signed, sealed, and delivered from my end.
Maybe.
If I was to change my mind, we'll reassess this relationship. But as of right now, I got 2 left in me and they're locked in with, blah, blah, blah.
I don't need you anymore.
Yeah. The IBF has ordered Frank Sanchez to fight Efe Ajagba in a final eliminator for Dubois' IBF World Heavyweight title. It would be a rematch of their 2021 bout, which Sanchez won by unanimous decision. B probably doesn't care either way because Frank Sanchez stunk it out in that last loss, and he doesn't like Efe Ajagba. Yankier Rivera will face Angelino Cordova for the WBA interim flyweight title, and Jermaine Ortiz will take on Brandon Long's guy, Steve the Dragon Claggett.
Yes!
In an MVP doubleheader.
The Dragon will breathe hot fire. Booyaka, booyaka.
Is that your Ali G prediction that the Dragon will breathe hot fire?
Breathe hot fire.
August 23rd.
More fire.
23rd in Orlando, live on the Zone. Yankiel Rivera.
That made me happy.
Angelino Cordova is a good fight. Flyweight, we're going to get into who's there because an upset just happened. Yankiel Rivera is really good too.
I forgot to tell you, I saw Jermaine Ortiz at the Hitchens fight.
You did forget to tell me.
I forgot to tell you that.
Up?
No,
Oh,
I I don't do that too often.
Okay.
I just
Got you. I got you.
gaze at them
I got you.
and I go, oh,
Longingly.
that's that guy.
Handsome Eddie wants Bees Boy Joe Cordina to fight the winner of the Order WBO title fight between Sam Noakes and Abdullah Mason.
Oh my
Cordina
God.
returns on July 5th in Manchester, England. So he wins that. It looks like he's going to get the Sam Noakes Abdullah Mason winner. And
Okay.
Abdullah Mason will do Joe Cordina dirty.
So it's Sam Noakes.
Possibly, yes. Turki Al-Sheikh is planning Canelo Alvarez's third fight of his 4-fight deal against either Hamza Shiraz or Chris Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr. and Shiraz both have fights planned first against Conor Benn and Edgar Berlanga, respectfully. I don't think this is going to get there, or I think there's going to be. I think Bud beats him and he retires. If Bud, okay. I think Bud beats him and he retires. I think if the fight's great or close,
Yeah.
they're not mutually exclusive. They run it back. But either way, I think it ends there. And if it doesn't end there, I think Canelo gets into the freak show biz. Fights a Jake Paul, fights a Logan Paul.
Okay.
So I can't see him fighting Bud Crawford in September and then coming back in May of next year, in May of 2026, and fighting Hamza Shiraz, maybe Eubank Jr. in a stadium in the UK. Because
I think
Canelo
that's who his
says, I want
opponent
to
will be.
fight over there.
Yeah.
I want to fight over there. And old Canelo will beat up Eubank Jr. And old slip, fading Canelo will beat Eubank Jr.
I think, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got to, yes, I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking how badly he would have beat him up 4 years ago.
Oh,
And
when it was being thrown around on the early episodes of the show. Yeah, he might have packed them up.
Now I think it'll be like a boring decision.
Me too. It just gets better and better for this Brendo Long. Now, this guy fucking fumbles the rock in this big UK fight. They're looking to make Jarrell Miller, Jared Anderson for the Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford Netflix 4-fight main card.
That is a loser leaves town
match. The two big babies.
Big baby, yeah.
Big baby versus big baby. Bro, leaves town and loses that name.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dusty loses the match and comes back as the Midnight Rider under the mask. If he wants to fight again, he has to.
You saying Jarrell Miller comes back in a little diskeezy
mustache and a diskeezy,
like
a white person wig.
He just has on. No, he just has the Groucho Marx.
Just the Groucho Marx.
Just
the Humpty.
Yeah,
the Humpty Hump nose and okay. Lastly, it looks like Naoya Inoue, Alan Picasso, is being made for December 27th. I know, you're such an asshole. I have no idea what happened with the Moorjan Akhmadaliev fight. It looked like it was all but delivered. He was ringside.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Unless, I want to say unless I'm getting bad news, but it's news. So it's like, are they playing?
Where did you see that?
Is someone playing games here?
Where did you see that?
Either on Ring or Boxing Scene.
All right.
Okay.
I put his name into news, Moorjan Akhmadaliev, and nothing. There's no news. There's
no news.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into what we mentioned, getting in to what happened last week. It feels so long ago, B, that we were. I said, "Did you see that?" Because I didn't want to spoil it for you, but you were at work when the main event came on from Japan. So I said, "Did you watch that?" I didn't want to say, because if you were like, "No, what happened?" I screenshot something for you. Okay, look, guys. Wednesday,
Listen,
what was it for
I
us?
don't. You got to stop sexting me in the morning. That's what
Oh,
that's you
gross. You're
screenshot.
so gross. B, was this Thursday morning for us or Wednesday morning for us? Was it Wednesday you were going into work or Thursday going into work?
It was Thursday morning.
Wednesday, ESPN Plus, Ota City General Gymnasium, Tokyo, Japan. Brian Norman Jr., 27-0, 21 KOs, versus the aforementioned Jin Sasaki, 19, 1-1, 17 KOs. WBO welterweight title. A left hook on the top of the head drops Sasaki in the first. Same shot drops him again a minute later. B, Brian Norman is just strong. I know you look at, not you, I know people look at a knockout ratio like that and go, yeah, of course, idiot. There's a difference between knockout power and strength, that
Yeah.
brutish, but like push you around strength. Me and you joke and call it dad strength, but Norman's
Yeah.
a kid. It's just being strong, even when
no one's fucking with him in that division right now.
bro. This is a guy that we've criticized for a variety of reasons. Most of them not performance.
Not performance reasons.
No, but just some a little bit of they're difficult people in terms of negotiations, mixed with a little bit. I was like, B, I said to you, I didn't realize how, I think it was his last win, not
how
this
young
one.
he is.
We said how young he was, and I was like, I didn't realize he was this country. Like he talks like Gucci Mane. You know what I'm saying?
He's from Atlanta.
From Decatur. Yeah.
Decatur,
so I didn't know, like, look, man, you can be from the South and not be country. I didn't know he talks like a Southern rapper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't particularly find him likable. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be. You and I talk about guys with great personalities who we like. Then we talk about people that we hate because they're bozos. And then there's those people that just go, yeah, that guy kind of just gets his job done and he's kind of a dud. You know what I mean? So I don't have negative things to say as much as I go, well, this guy doesn't have a promo, you know?
Yeah.
Which may or may not be problematic. I agree with Brendan before I say that, but I'll say a few more things. Outside of the obvious punching power, he's just a brick wall. Jin Sasaki was getting beaten and bullied, but he kept firing, even landing some shots. This Norman, we're busy talking about how this fight ended and a near tragedy. This Norman's got a chin on him because Jin Sasaki can crack.
I was just gonna say, Norman is he's a real deal tough guy.
He is. What's our line, B? 5 shots couldn't stop me. I took it and smiled. So I said he took him and smiled in my notes. For being so young, B, he's very poised. He doesn't get wild or overexert himself. He stays on the jab. He goes downstairs. He sits on big shots up top. He's very, very good. Well-trained. Great technique. Turning pro, this is huge. Turning pro, in my opinion, this is huge. Turning pro at 17 and having a bunch of fights down in Mexico has really done wonders for him with that lack of an amateur career.
Yeah.
He's 24, and in my opinion, fights like a veteran. He does not look
Mine too. Doesn't look like he's 24. He's an old soul.
He is. A left hook in the 5th knocked Jin Sasaki out cold. Scary knockout. Brendan and I talk about it being quiet in Japan. This was a different type of quiet. This was a pin drop.
This was an actual knockout.
Correct.
This wasn't like he was out.
They took him out on a stretcher. I could see from the angle that they were shooting in that he was moving and a little bit alert, you know, which automatically made me say, okay, precautions. Something just happened in Japan. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know it was bad, as we talked about earlier in the show, until later. Considering what happened to Genjiro Shigoka, Brian Norman was genuinely concerned and was all class in the post-fight interview. I just said I didn't particularly like him. He's a bit of a dud. He was genuinely concerned. He said after that, he said someone took their boots and ran to 154. Yeah. This is kind of where we want to do the a callback that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Look, he said he wants to fight in October, which I really like. Just a side note, this comes with us saying he has a chin. He's wide open for a left hook. Do you think when you have a chin like that, you just say we can't play favorites here. We would talk about like a guy like Golovkin and that iron chin, right? And when you get hit by a prime Canelo and eat it, he still ate it but got hit.
Right.
Not the hardest guy in the world to hit, even though
you can outpoint a guy like that. Yeah.
Yes. Look, he doesn't keep that right hand, that telephone to his ear. He drops that right hand. Does that concern you moving forward? Or do you think because you said, yo, this is a genuine tough guy, that he'll just eat shots to get his
Well,
off?
I mean, look, anybody, it only goes so far. I think it's a great observation by you to pick up on that. I haven't heard anybody else say that. So
I just wanted to put in our
kudos to
memory
you.
banks, Brendan. I'm not bringing it up because of this. I'm bringing it up because we're going to be talking about this kid now in October, and Boots is leaving. Now there's what are there, 3 belts out there now, Brendan? He's got the WBO. Barrios and Pacquiao are fighting in a few weeks.
Right. And the other 2 belts are vacant.
Are going to be vacant, as my nephew says.
As your nephew would say. So there's a chance he could fight in a appointee for 2 vacant belts. And I'll tell you right now, he beats the shit out of Barrios and Pacquiao. Brian Norman. They're not fucking with him.
So I don't think the winner of that fight goes near Brian Norman. Real quick, B. We have Boots, who's now gone. Stanionis, who's about to come back. The aforementioned Barrios.
Yeah.
Giovanni Santillan.
Who he already beat.
up.
Rohan Polanco. That's who he should fight.
Shakram Gayazov is good. The aforementioned Jin Sasaki, who probably drops off the top 10 now. Rohan Polanco, who's very good, B. That's the fight. That's the fight for those 2 vacant belts, in my opinion. So they make that be, and then he's the guy with the 3 belts. And the one becomes, that's the Pacquiao Barrios belt. And whoever won it just keeps the
I mean, let's just throw some names around. We're just gonna call them names, okay?
Yeah.
Norman is too rugged for Devin Haney, for Ryan Garcia, and I'll probably go out on a limb and say for Teofimo. He's too big, he's too rugged, he's too strong. He roughs those guys up. He bullies those guys like he did with Santillan.
Those guys are doing this thing where they're like, because I'm doing air quotes, because they're stars or are definitely promoted well, they're kind of like fighting as floaters. Like, I don't know where any of them are, bro. Are they going to fight if 40,
they're all considered welterweights now.
Right, yeah. I know.
But and Devin Haney just told Teofimo or something, or one of the people he's arguing with, or Hitchens, come to 46. Just told Hitchens, come to 47. He's never had a fight at
47. Right. Yeah, Alexis Rocha. Raul Cordial is fighting soon.
Bro,
and
Norman beats the shit out of all of those guys.
I don't think we discussed someone at welter that Norman doesn't beat now that Boots is gone.
Right.
Yeah. And at that point, all right, look, I just want to keep that left hook thing in our memory banks, B. You know what I'm saying? It's just a note I wanted to look. Look, Brian Norman turned down $1.75 million last year, and his team didn't want to negotiate when he had a fight coming up, when they were willing to offer $2 million. So let's not rewrite history just because we praised him, because we do not.
I think they played the long game with this.
I do too. And I think
it was successful. Now, if Boots hung around for like another year, if he was still, it wouldn't be as successful.
I think your assessment that it's successful is TBD.
Okay.
If he's making $200,000 to fight Rohan Polanco for 2 belts, and then
he'll make more than that.
No, I'm just I'm just saying, when $2 million was hanging around,
right,
it's going to take him much more than one fight to make that now.
Yeah.
So it's TBD. If this guy's the unified champion in 12 to 18 months, I eat my words, because I think he will be, because I don't think nobody's fucking with him at 47. Unless someone that's an absolute fucking
gun. How tall is he?
He's not tall.
He's not,
he's
right?
Not tall. Not what we call tall when we go, yo, this guy's a monster for welter.
Yeah.
Not in that way.
5'8".
Yeah.
I'm asking because 5'8", then when you jump to 54,
now you're small as shit.
now you're a small 50 compared to all those guys.
It doesn't happen often, guys. I have a strange feeling he's going to pull a Kostya Tszyu and spend his whole career there. Norman.
Got a lot of muscle tone.
He does. He does. He does. He is shredded up.
He's shredded up. He's a big boy.
Yeah. But that 5'8" thing, and look, Chris Algieri talked about it recently. Brendan likes to talk about these divisions where you go, that leap is huge, unless you're fucking a monster. Where you go, oh, this isn't going to be hard for him. Well, no, this guy's always going to go up. I can see this. Yeah. Well, we never.
You got the Tommy Hearns of the world.
Yeah, guys, we never thought Paul Williams was staying a welterweight when we were younger. Like
it was more of a freak show that he could make it.
Sure. Oh, holy shit, this guy can make it. Fundora making it's insane. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where he's going to end up if he stays good. If he stays good and wins and can win a little bit, he'll probably stop at 175. He's still in his 20s, isn't he? He'll Tommy Hearns it and end up at light heavy if he makes it, hangs around and is old. Friday night, DAZN, Thunder Studios in Long Beach. I love these. Paco company you had mentioned, B. They team up with Oscar. I like that little Thunder Studios out in Long Beach. Did you watch this card, B?
Did not.
Okay, I'll rip through it real quick. Just some guys I want us to keep our eyes on. Dorian Mendez, 5-0, versus Leonardo Rubalcaba, 9-0, 140 pounds. Good, fun fight from two good young fighters. Back and forth, trading big shots. What a scrap, B. Watch it one night this week when you're bored. What a scrap. I had it 57-57. Judges had it 59-59 Mendez, 59-54 Mendez, 59-54 Rubalcaba, and 59-55 for your winner, Dorian Mendez. No way either guy won 5 rounds. 3 awful cards. I say do it again and put it on the undercard of a big pay-per-view, so we can go, yo, that's a good fight, to our fans who, go, who the fuck are these two guys? Both undefeated. They beat the shit out of each other. This is literally first round, then the second guy wins that round. Then third round, the second guy, then the fourth round, then that guy wins. Then these two beat the shit out of each other. They're young. They can both fight. This was a great scrap, man. This was a great scrap. Little 6-rounder. I would just run it right back. If you're Mendez and you got out of there with a win, maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, this was razor thin. And someone gave me 5 out of 6 rounds. 2 of them. 2 of the judges gave it, Juan Sanchez, 8-0, 7 KOs versus Yis Solano, 15-5, 10 KOs. Fought a bunch of guys, B. I don't know if you remember that name, Yis Solano. Maiquan Williams, Alberto Palmera, Gabriel Gayas, who we just watched on Pro Box, Kelvin Davis, who was just in the drama the other week. The guy fights everyone, 140 pounds. Juan Sanchez is very calm and very measured for a kid in his early 20s. Everything off the jab, B, doesn't rush anything. He comes a come forward guy, but if Solano pressed, B, he fought off the back foot really well, which isn't really, we talked about new styles are dead. Like there is no Mexican style
Mexican
anymore.
Style,
You could never see a guy do that where if this guy wanted to push it a little bit, he didn't do the, no, I'm going to stand my ground and he walked with it, he rolled with not the shots, but the rhythm of Solano. He fought at the back foot really well. Solano dropped him in the first by a bit. Solano dropped in the first by a big right hand and was doing the complaint. It was behind the head gimmick. And when guys lean into it by turning or
what it's supposed to do.
Then it's where do you want me to throw my punch? Man?
Right.
You gave me that shot. That's what you did. It's like if someone's complaining about that, a lot of refs will be like, you're pulling him down.
Yeah.
So where do you think he's going to get, that's where he's moving his hands. That's not on Sanchez, B. Big right hand in the third, drop Solano again. This is a guy that's only been stopped once in 21 fights, and he fights real guys. Referee Ray Corona jumped in at the end of the third. He just had seen enough, and this guy didn't complain. So you always know what that means. This kid is good, B. Bilingual, very heavy hands, young. Oscar's all over that. I want to see him again. He's been off for mad long, like 11 months. You can't
So
do
why
that.
is that though? You know, why does that happen? I wonder how many of these guys that you say like are gonna be good, guy looks good, and then just
He
they
said
they
something to the effect of, well, every time I tried to come back, a fight fell through, and then he
but
gave
you
a
know,
reason, whether we believe it or not,
right.
is
But what I'm saying is like how many of these guys just can't behave themselves because they're making
absolutely
short money. You know, it's a couple thousand here, sometimes hundreds,
sure.
and it's very
I
difficult.
can't see him getting more than $3,200 for this
Right,
fight. You
right.
know, this one,
Yeah,
I mean. Yeah, and but when B says can't behave themselves, he means this guy might not be training. And Oscar
right,
goes, well, bro, I just met with you and you're fighting at 140 and you were fat when we went to go have
right,
coffee. Like I'm not putting you in there in 6
right.
weeks. He said he wants to come right back, so that's how we'll judge it. B. If we don't see him by the end of the summer on one of these cards, these smaller DAZN
Yeah,
Friday night fights, then you're right. You know what I mean? He was in shape. He did what, you know. Main event, David Stevens, 14-2 at 10 KOs. Lost a close fight to Beck Bully. I think that was a split decision, if I'm not mistaken. Versus Peter Kamakov, 33 years old, 350 amateur fights, 2016 Russian Olympian, 13-0, 168 pounds. If you remember, I picked Peter Kamakov for it
right.
was an upset, I think, even though he's the undefeated fighter.
Okay.
Stevens was picked to win. Old school inside fight was very much a war of positioning and foot placement. B, you know, right in on the phone booth, trying to use angles to get into position to land. Kamakov would slip Stevens' right hand and crack him with a left hook counter. Pretty stuff. Stevens is good, but there's a certain calm that you like to see in a fighter. And then there's a lack of urgency in a guy or almost apathy. And Stevens walks that line. When they were in the phone booth, he wasn't really throwing. Peter Kamakov is really crafty in there, really good fighter. Unorthodox combinations, you know, throwing a lead and then the jab is the
Yeah.
two. Unorthodox stuff. You know, we talk about that Eastern Bloc. Those guys are on another level at this point. Coming out of the amateurs. I'm going to be honest here. As I'm watching this, I had a gut feeling these cards were going to be wonky. B. Those old school fights with crafty Benny Briscoe guys who are
Right.
catching things with their elbows and then ripping you with a shot off of it in the inside. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
real craft but it's old. It's like you
Yeah.
have to have an old boxing soul, like how we do
Sure.
to watch it, where you go, oh, I love watching this guy fight. Some of the stuff Tevin Farmer does, am I
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
sense? Like the
Yes.
type of
Yeah.
James Toney stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's got James Toney,
Yeah. Right.
but
Okay.
that kind of stuff, that
Catching,
old,
catching and shooting,
yes, the
letting it
Archie Moore,
bouncing one off your elbow, letting them
yes,
just miss on your shoulder, coming
yes.
back with a shot. Yeah.
Using a shoulder to set up a punch instead of a
Right.
jab and cracking them inside stuff. I'm just not feeling good about these judges appreciating this guy's craft. And we're
Okay.
going, oh God, and this guy's a gold, you know, David Stevens is a golden boy guy. I'm just not seeing that they're seeing what I'm seeing.
Right. Okay.
This is what's happening as we're in like the 7th and 8th, and I'm going, good rounds, clever guys, really good work, high level stuff. I'm not so I just felt they were going to be wonky. B. I had it 97, 93 for Peter
Okay.
Kamakov. If you had it 96, 94 for Kamakov, no problem for me. Tough fight. Both guys acquitted themselves well, but I really like that sneaky stuff Kamakov does in there. And I'm like, I want to see more of this guy. He's 33. You know, he's got to get this going here.
Okay.
All three judges had it 97, 93 for David Stevens. These cards are wild, Brendan. David Stevens was super unprofessional and rude in the post-fight interview. So I'm not feeling this guy on any level, although he fights well. He's from Reading, PA, which if you guys don't know is about an hour and a half-ish outside of Philly.
Yeah.
He's not Puerto Rican, but it's a huge Boricua community there. But David Stevens, Boricua that I know of, he was mad rude to the girl who was working. She was doing the corner interviews and the fighter interviews. And it was her first night on the job. She was previously working for the 49ers, like on the sidelines. So they
Okay.
made a deal out of it. You know, she was like, this is exciting. And I never, and sweetheart of a girl. B, he's mad rude. She said, congratulations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I want to say, like mad rude and unprofessional, bro. And I don't mean in a,
I know what you mean. I know
I'm
what you mean.
working this to show that I'm menacing and calling people out way. I do not mean in a worker way that's entertaining. I
Right.
mean like a shitty person. So I'm not feeling on this. I'm not feeling this on any level. I
Remember
hope.
Travis Kaufman?
Yes.
He's from Reading,
Yes.
and he was a dick.
Kermit Cintron was from Reading.
Kermit Cintron, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy though.
He was all right. I would see him in AC and do the
state champ wrestler.
yes. You know
Yeah.
the what's up nod where you don't say
Yeah.
it, you just do that. I would do that. He would do it back. So nice enough.
Yeah.
But I don't like this guy. 168. There's some guys there. I'll bet you, B. I'll bet you if it's not a title shot for Beck Bully next after that recent win, which I think that was an eliminator, wasn't it? That fight we just covered.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So if I want to see this kid David Stevens get packed up on the strength of this decision that he didn't deserve and him being rude to this girl who was a sweetheart to everyone, and in turn, everyone was a sweetheart to her.
Right.
Everyone there, from the announcers to the corners to all the fighters. This guy is just like, I'm not feeling him on any level. No puff. His energy is off. His energy is off. Saturday, DAZN, Birmingham. Peter Blood McGraw, 11-1, 6 KOs versus Unit Baluta, 17-5, never been stopped, super bantam. Peter McGraw was highly touted, B. We spoke of him on this show and got completely derailed when he got knocked out cold by Jericho O'Quinn, which we covered. He got sparked clean out in a fight that he had O'Quinn down twice and was giving him a fucking beating. And you and I were texting each other, this kid's fucking good. And he gets caught and flattened, which really derailed him because we were hype. We were hype. Again, breaking the barriers of styles. He was like real slick with it and flowing with it. And it wasn't that European style, you know, his feet were good. And we were kind of hype on him. He's a good fighter, really good feet, southpaw, fires that straight left right up the middle. He likes to mix it up, which I'm sure drives his corner crazy, B. And it's probably why he got clipped by Jericho O'Quinn, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm sure it makes his trainer crazy, but it's good for us because it makes for good fights. Look, he got clipped by a right hand by Jericho O'Quinn. He can get hit by a right hand. So they need to work on that in his camp. But Luda can't punch, so it didn't come into play, which is similar to the Brian Norman assessment that we both gave. But if guys like MJ and even a guy like Luis Neri, who's good, land that shot, it's going to be a problem.
Sure.
Unit Baluta is tough as nails, and he made Peter McGraw work for it. I had it 98-92. Judges had it 95-95. I don't know who gave that judge that heroin, and 97-93 twice. Conor Walker, it's spelled Conah, which would be Kona here. But is it a play on the accent of Conor? Like Connor? But
I don't know.
Is it a play on that? Conor Walker, 15-3-1, 6 KOs versus Liam Taylor, 28-2-1, 14 KOs. British welterweight title. Two tough guys who had no problem finding each other. Back and forth action and exchanging brutal shots, blood everywhere by the fourth. Remember, we spoke last week about the stakes of a fight. I asked you if those stakes affect what you're watching is, you know, like, oh, I don't really know these guys. So, and this is for, a trinket, you know, so does it affect what you're watching? This is one of those fights. This fight is a fight of the year candidate if these were named fighters in a big fight. When Conor Walker looked to be taking over, this Liam Taylor would come back and win a round. Walker landed a perfect left hook on Liam Taylor's chin in the 7th and packed him up. What a scrap. These
guys are ranked like around 50, so.
Yeah, this is going to be, it is not going to win, but it's going to crack my top 5 fights of the year. When we give honorable mentions, It's going to crack. Look, you go 6, 7 rounds and of back and forth beating the shit out of each other, and then it ends on a destructive knockout. Gal Yafai, 2020 Olympic gold medalist, 9-0, 7 KOs versus Francisco Rodriguez. 39-6-1, 27 KOs. Former unified champion. I said last week he fought everybody. Chocolatito, Dani Nietes, Moises Fuentes, Kaz Ioka, Junto Nakatani. Only stopped once in 48 fights. And that was by Chocolatito, an all-time great. This is for a WBC interim feather flyweight title. We spoke about a flyweight in the news. So hopefully we'll start unifying there. Rodriguez hurt Yafai about a minute in, B, with a big right hand shovel hook. That shot you love. He was shaky and holding on. Yafai had a nice comeback round in the second, but hurt by another right hand late in the round. Something looked off to me.
This wasn't close.
No, I don't know if he had a bad camp, a troublemaking weight. You know anything about that?
He got beat. I don't know. He got beat pillar to post. He got knocked down at the end. This was about as wide of a decision, easy to score. Yafai couldn't get off. Rodriguez was more clever. He was varying his punches better, and it looked like it reminded me of when Marco Antonio Barrera beat the shit out of Nas. You know, it was just
it's a poor man's version of that.
Total destruction in terms of crushing his will, as well as, you know, the actual fight in the ring. You and I talked about it last week. First of all, Billy's got to be broke over this because someone told him to bet.
He didn't bet it. He didn't bet it. I hit him that day and said, "What are we looking at?" Sent him over what was going on, and I don't think he took anything.
Correct.
See,
this is
now apologize. I picked Gal Yafai.
Well, other people take your picks too, so there's some broke knockies out there that are pawning their wares.
Is this Brendan trying to be like take my bets? Take
my bets. I picked this properly.
We might have to have a little bet off.
Let's do it.
I mean, if he wants to take it there, you know,
let's do it.
Start keeping score.
See if Billy gets new rims on his vehicle, or he's riding the bus.
This Brandon wants to make things serious. All right, you know,
let's do it.
I had it 118. I had it 118, 108. Francisco Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Judges had it 119, 108 twice. 118, 109. The year of the upset continues, Billy. For what it's worth. When I'm right or wrong, where B's right or wrong, we're both right. Everyone's getting upset. What does Gal Yafai do, B? I mean, that was a beat.
Well, that's what we were talking. So last week we had mentioned you said, is he what do we call him? A prospector? We decided on a contender, a 32-year-old 9-fight contender. And we made it a point to say that Rodriguez has like a billion fights and he's the same age. So what does this tell you? Activity matters, right, guys?
Yes.
And you got to be more active. Yafai, I think, can come back from this. But at 32, yeah. And this is a demoralizing loss.
I mean,
experience in these fights matters.
The parallel you drew with Nas, what did Nas do? Have one more fight after the Barrera beat down and then retired?
And then
went off into the sunset. He
went off into the reckless driving sunset.
He was also a star and rich when he did so. So it's a little bit different, but I don't know who B in retrospect, do you see the Sonny Edwards win as well? He beat a faded Sonny Edwards?
No, because he did look brilliant, you know. So I don't know. Like you said, is it off? Or is it just, you know, Francisco Rodriguez is like, I'm not letting this fucking 32-year-old amateur great.
Did you think
rough me up? This is my.
Did you think
my time?
Rodriguez had this performance in him? I watched him fight a bunch. This is the performance of his career, in my opinion.
I agree. I just thought he's a tough out. I thought this guy's a survivor. You know, like you pointed out, he only was stopped by an all-time great.
An absolute all-time great.
He went the distance with Junto, who's not
Yeah, it was
stopping
a gun.
everybody.
Yes.
And I said to myself, if Yafai's not getting this guy out of here, this guy don't fucking go nowhere. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at. And I think that I don't think they moved Yafai too fast. He proved it with Sonny Edwards' last fight.
Agreed.
I just think that the other night, Francisco Rodriguez was the better man. It happens.
It does happen. So what we have to see here
It
is
sets
this
the
an
Yafai
anomaly?
back.
It does. It does. And our worry, Brendan, you brought it up, I believe 3 times already, was his age.
32.
Setbacks at 24. Even Timmy Zoo's age. What was Timmy Zoo with that loss? 29?
30, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even those couple years to come back, it's like a little more room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we've talked about guys. I mean, there's legends, but no, Juan Manuel Marquez lost his first fight.
Yeah,
Bernard lost his first fight. It's okay. It's different. At 32, on the biggest stage you were on in your hometown,
yeah,
for
dude,
an
you're a
interim
headliner.
title, the headliner, mad people there. He does have a fan base. All right, B, before we move on.
And he got his ass kicked. It wasn't like
his ass kicked. Before we move on, what do you do? You're Eddie Hearn. Do you wanted Tim Zoo out of here for a year before he came up?
Yeah.
And you still, even though he packed up Joey Spencer, if he was, let's say he gets beat up by Fundora, you might say, see, that's why I called for that year off. What do you do after an ass whooping? This was worse of a beating, and I don't care that it says on the record, knockout. To me, this was worse of a beating on Gal Yafai than Tim Zoo got.
Okay. I mean,
physically speaking, over 12 rounds.
Over 12 rounds. It's just like classic 12-round beat.
What do you, as his promoter?
You can't stop. You got to just.
Put your promoter hat on. So he comes back in September.
6 months.
What?
I wouldn't say September. 6 months.
So at the very end of the year,
get him on a card.
Get him on a card in December
with a lower 10 guy, because they don't. I mean, you could put him in a tune-up as like the third fight on a card on a 5-card fight, and see what he does in a 10-rounder.
I don't think you could do tune-ups. Like, I don't know, man. I guess I know it doesn't sound like it, but I guess there's degrees of what a tune-up is.
Yeah.
The way Eddie used the word gatekeeper and top 10 at the same time.
Put him in there with a serviceable guy that can hang in there for 10 rounds, and put him in a 10-rounder and see what happens. Because you have no choice. I don't think he has a big enough fan base.
I think you're completely on fucking target, Brendan. I don't think you have a lot of options here.
No, December.
As him or his promoter, which is Matchroom and Eddie. What do you do here? Rebuild him for 2 years and then he's 34?
Right.
I want to bring something up about Saturday, ESPN, Prudential Center. Paulie Malignaggi and Raul Marquez on the call. These two busting each other's balls the whole fight. Cracking each other up. Guys around the same age, from around the same era. Raul's a little bit older than us. But, just guys that were gym rats on 2 different coasts, but have so much in common. Inside jokes. It was really fun to listen to. I want to bring something up, Mr. Long. I looked up the Prudential Center capacity. It's 17,000. You and I have both been there for fights. I told you I went to see my buddy Fast Eddie Chambers from Philly. I went to see my buddy Steve USS Cunningham from there. Been there, I'd say, a handful of times, Brendo. How about you? How many times?
3.
Okay.
3 times.
Okay. So the capacity is around 17K, big. When we talked about these local type guys, or
what they were going to open up for Vito?
Yes. What did you think? Did you think the whole place was going to be open?
No.
Did you think they were going to paper it? What did you think he could sell? Like, I have some info. That's why I'm like, what was your number in your head that you
7,000?
I figured 8. $8. Okay. Supposedly there was like 4,500 people there. And in my opinion, this is just me. You worked in this business, Brendan. I worked in this business. I still do. I didn't hear that many people there.
Look, man, he didn't do anything to bring.
No, we're going to get into that. But I mean, I've been at the 2300 Arena. You've been at the Elks Lodge in Queens,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
and I've heard more going on. So
it was quiet.
we talked about the opponent and what we felt about it. So listen, I want to shout someone out first. Francisco Salazar. That's my guy. We've been talking for years on Twitter. He's from out on the West Coast in Cali. He's F Salazar Boxing on Twitter. He knows boxing. We were talking about Dwight Flemings Jr. He's 10-0 with 9 KOs from Patterson, B. 154 pounds. He doesn't have a promoter. He's really good. He fought a guy named Damian Fernandez and packed him up with a left hook to the body in the first. Azzy, prospect, and he has no promoter and no deal. He's stamped. Someone better snatch him up. And I'm telling you, it better be, if they were smart, someone like Lou DiBella, you know, like that, and get a guy on the come up. And that way he's with them for his career and then can co-promote with a bigger guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's these guys we talk about. You're friends with some of them, or a Samson Lukowitz, who's not a promoter, but I want to manage this guy and then get him a deal. You know, these guys parlay deals like that.
Local Northeast guy.
Yes, he's fucking good, man. This kid, Dwight Flemings Jr., man, 154. We just talked about that division, guys.
Yeah.
And everyone's young there, so it's not like,
no, it's a hot division.
It's
the hottest division. It's on fire.
It's on fire, and most of them are young, if not all. I don't think anyone's what we would call old. Is anyone 36, 37, 38? Madrimov might be a little bit older. Maybe Boachuk, because they had amateur careers. I have a question to ask you. Brandon Lee. 30-0, 23 KOs, been gone for 11 months and fought 8 rounds in 2 years. You say to me he went back to school. I go, are you joking? And you go, yeah. You know he went back to school?
Oh, is that what is that what it is?
So they say it, and I go, that asshole broke my balls on the air and kept the joke going, so I look like a real fucking Gindaloon.
Why do you look like bad? What are you talking about?
Because I thought you were working me and did know that he went back.
I didn't know. I said it as a joke.
I know, but that's why he was gone. He got,
and I said on the show, I said it as a joke.
I know, but I thought you were working me even with that. He got a law, criminal justice degree.
So he's going to be a cop. That's what you get to be a cop. Boachuk's only 30. God,
okay,
that's a hard 30.
That's a rough paper route. He had a rough paper route. It looked like he's been gone for 11 months to me with Brandon Lee. I don't know. I'm not going to say we were lukewarm. We were warm on him.
I'm not too high on him.
I'm going backwards where I was when he was with PBC, fighting and knocking everyone out. I'm going backwards a little bit. The fellas, Paulie, Raul, the fellas, Brandon Lee, his team, all kind of leaned on we were trying to go rounds. And I never know if I believe that, because don't play with your food. We know you can get clipped. We just talked about Blood McGrail and what happened.
Didn't he get knocked? Didn't Brandon Lee get knocked down?
Down, yes, not out.
But I'm saying he got put on Queer Street.
Yeah, he's still young, but you're very look. We both are. We're big on this show where you got 900 fights and you still haven't been in there against a live human. You're fighting mutants and cab drivers and lift guys. 30-0 with 23 KOs. Now you got your degree.
Right.
Back. Now this is a guy, you said no when I said it before. This guy, you better be back August, September.
Right away.
And who is he with now, B? Is he with this promotional unit? This wasn't even really Top Rank. I feel like they were like, here's our equipment.
Yeah, basically. I think it was LaManna.
Thomas LaManna and Mielnicki, and I think Top Rank was like, do you need our truck tonight?
Right.
Paulie and Raul were struggling with the audio. They cracked a couple jokes about things happening. I don't want to get them in trouble, so I'll leave it at that. But they said it. They said it on it.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure you've talked to Paulie about it. A guy from your neck of the woods, Jahi Tucker, 14-1, versus Lorenzo Truck Simpson, 15-2, middleweights. Look, he's only 22, And when we would talk about Jahi before, I would forget that. So I want to be fair.
He gets hit way too
ahead.
much.
I understand he's learning on the job, B, but he makes things just harder
He
than they
just
have
walks
to be.
flat-footed
Yes, and
with
he
his
just
hands down,
makes
and he's
things
just.
more difficult.
We talked earlier in the show. Too tough for your own good.
It frustrates me. He's too tough. He makes things more difficult.
He can get baited into a firefight way too fast.
He'll be in complete control, land combinations, then have momentary lapses and just get cracked.
He loses his temper.
He does. Is that what you think it is? So
he loses his temper, right?
What I'm calling is a momentary lapse defensively.
The poise isn't there.
His poise isn't there, and he's getting angry, and that's why.
What it seems like. I mean,
no, it's a great observation.
He cuts a good promo though. He talks a lot of shit. He before the fight, he said something to the effect it was very fun. Like even like the people interviewing everybody started laughing.
Yeah,
he's got a real like Long Island wit, and he said like it's all good because I get to punch you in the face.
No, he's a good promo.
Like,
but he's still charming while talking shit, while doing the New Yorker shit, which is what I was trying to say about the guy earlier.
It wasn't.
It's there's this charming aspect to Jahi Tucker that makes me like him.
Right.
I root for him. You know, on this show, we're just honest. You know, we don't have to. We don't get checks from people where we can't say things like that. You know what I mean? I want him to be a little bit. I think he makes things difficult on himself. I think he has the skill to not do the things that you say he does.
I've seen him spar live.
I know you have. So that's why what you say.
He's tough.
He's good, man.
And he's good. Yeah. But it's like blood and guts sparring, and I don't think that makes for a very long career.
Those laps of reason that you call, he gets mad, and that's when he gets cracked. Look, I don't want it to sound like Tucker wasn't winning the fight, at least on my card. He was. He shows how good he can be, but there's these like 20, 30-second gaps, B. And what I wrote is where he seems to zone out. This guy is from your neck of the woods. You've seen him spar in person. What you're saying holds way more weight than me. What I'm calling zoned out is you're saying that's when he loses poise, or as I was saying.
That's what it seems like to me. I'm sure if I said that to him or his team, they would like jump me in the parking lot.
They would.
You know what I mean? Like,
they absolutely would, but that doesn't make you wrong. That means you're touching a nerve.
What I'm saying is he seems like you can set him off. Like I said, he's probably going to get into like weigh-in fights and press conference arguments.
Yeah. It's a temperament.
You got to tamper down the emotions a bit.
Agreed, but 22 years old. I had it 97-93 for Jahi. Judges had it 96-94, 97-93 twice. Nice cards. Main event, Vito Mielnicki, 21-1, 12 KOs versus Kamil Garjelik, 19-0, 4 KOs. This is the middleweight. Vito Mielnicki looked big, looked strong. He turned pro at welter, but he was 17, so we knew he wasn't long for that weight class like we talked about with these guys like that. Some are. He moved to 54, had some fights there. Now he's at 60. Good jab going upstairs and downstairs with the right hand, left hooks to the body, uppercuts. Look, I'm not really sure how to assess a performance, B, when you're fighting whatever he was, underdog with no power that's never fought outside of Poland. Garjelik switched to southpaw in the third, and Mielnicki cracked him with a right hand and dropped him. He stayed on the jab and didn't let Garjelik get any kind of rhythm. Mielnicki hasn't scored a KO in 2 years. So those 12 KOs and the 20 wins, B, that's really deceptive, especially as he's moving up again. We're talking about a really big kid for.
Yeah.
So look,
he looked big and sluggish to me.
He did. It was a consistent professional performance from Mielnicki. Won every round. Dominated a guy he was supposed to, but for me, he needed a KO this guy to make a statement, and he didn't.
He didn't impress me.
He didn't impress me. Won 100-89 on all 3 cards. Again with this Mielnicki, the guy pitches a shutout, and in my opinion too, and I'm still not impressed.
Me neither.
I don't know how that's possible. We talked about this with other guys that we're not impressed with. A while back, you and I called for a fight with Xander Zayas, Brendan.
Make that fight.
That's still out there, right?
Sure.
Jorge Garcia Perez for the WBO belt at 154 is in a few weeks. That's a big fight in New
Can
York,
he
New
make
Jersey.
54?
I
Mielnicki
think he
can't.
can.
Oh, he blew weight last fight, remember?
Yeah, true. But
That's why he's at.
he didn't look shredded at 60.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Look, B, Troy Isley and Jahi Tucker are easy fights to make. I think that's what you do next.
I
Why
agree.
not Jahi Tucker? Why not Jahi Tucker, Vito Mielnicki on New York or New Jersey?
Yeah, I'd take it.
Right? Or no?
Battle of the suburbs.
Right? A Long Island kid versus a Jersey kid? What's wrong with that?
I like it. Take it.
All right, guys.
All right, that's it.
Look, where can they find you, B?
At the Killer B24 on Twitter, at I_no_that_kid on IG. Find us at KOTB Boxing on IG, KOTB Podcast on YouTube, and write us at kotbboxing@gmail.com. Send us letters. Let us know if you want to advertise. Vinny, what do you
My
got?
new record, God Send Vengeance, streaming everywhere. Go run those numbers up. Had a David video on YouTube. New video coming ASAP. Billy and I are just waiting for our edit to sign off on of said video. If you're more into physical product like CDs, tapes, and vinyl, you can go to jmtstore.com. We have a big summer sale. Vinny Paz hates the summer sale going on there now. Yo, they're crazy. They're killing me, B. 50% off some joints.
But you gotta sell 50% shirts, so just a cut off with no sleeves. Boom.
Right. It's 50% of the product.
Pay full price. You
Double
get
vinyl, you just get one. No,
just
we're
get
kidding.
one.
Nah, there's a great sales over there, guys. I'm not joking. I look myself and it's kind of wild. Go cop some stuff for the summer or the winter and put it in the tuck.
You weren't supposed to look at that, Benny.
What?
You
I
weren't
know. Clearly, I wasn't meant to look, B. Yeah, new video coming soon. jmtstore.com. Knock them out. The box shirts are there. Cop one of them too. Run the record up. We'll see y'all next episode. Billy, say goodnight.
Good night, Billy.